Welcome back, everybody. For this tutorial, what we're going to look at is the type tool in Photoshop. So your type tool is located in your toolbox, which is on the left-hand side. I'd like to draw your attention, though, that if you click and hold on the toolbox, notice that you have both a horizontal and a vertical type tool. Also to point out, you do have two type mask tools here that we will get into later when we get into masking. For today's demo regarding the type tool and its properties, we will be working with the horizontal type tool. There are two ways to begin typing with the type tool. The first I'll show you is using the tool and just clicking once in your work area and beginning to type. So if I just click once, I can come in now and notice how Photoshop automatically adds lorem ipsum text for me to preview. I can now come in and type in, for instance, the goodest. And while this is still active, I can now come in and edit this text as well. Notice how you have a blinking cursor right at the edge. I can come in and click and hold and highlight. And then I have two locations that I can come in and edit the properties of this text. The first being across the main bar at the top here, but also too in the properties panel over on the right-hand side. When you are editing your text, you can come in the drop-down menu here and you can choose a typeface. So for instance, whenever you click through these or scroll through these, notice how my text in the background continues to change. This is a nice option here that Adobe added that allows us to actually preview what it will look like before actually setting our text. So for instance, maybe I like Bell MT. I can also come in now, I can click on the drop down here and I can change to bold. I could just set it to its regular version. I can also change it to italic. The other thing you can do is also change the type size, and you can also change the color. Either spot, changing the color here, if you just click on the color that you have active, you can come in and just use the color picker. Once you are satisfied with the way the text looks here, you can either hit the Enter key on the numerical keypad on your keyboard, or up in the property panel here, you do have a check mark that you can commit your changes. I commit my changes, and now you can see the text has been placed, but also I'd like to show you too, notice in the Layers panel, notice how you now have a brand new layer in your project and it has a little T for the preview there. That is denoting that this is a text layer. You can only put editable text on a text layer. However, outside of that, this works just like other layers, where for instance, I can come in and take the Move tool and I can reposition my text on its layer. The other way to add text into a Photoshop project is going back to the Type tool and instead of just clicking once, clicking and dragging to make a text area. This will constrain the text to have to fit in that specific area that you defined. So I could add in of dogs. Notice how on the edges here, I get those transform arrows that I could come in and shrink this down or drag this out further. And then you can make edits. You can even rotate your text on an axis. I'm going to go ahead and commit my change. Go to my Move tool and kind of get this a little bit positioned a little bit better how I would like this. So one last thing to note regarding when you're working with type is that please note that you can actually break up your phrases. This is one thing I see a lot of people who are new to Photoshop, they don't realize they can do this from a design standpoint. You don't have to type the entire phrase into the text field. You can have multiple type layers that go together to make your statements. So just keep that in mind, but that concludes the overview of the type tool.